So this past week, an artist went a little viral on social media for all of the wrong reasons. They posted a series of unhinged harassment emails from a customer that gained a lot of traction online. They gained tens of thousands of new followers overnight, made more revenue in a single day than they would otherwise in a month, and were then exposed as a liar. As it turns out, they had been emailing themselves the whole time. All of the emails were fake, all of the drama had been manufactured. And this gained so much attention online, it sparked so much discourse. People were talking about it nonstop. It was crazy. And I think it reveals something kind of important. Unethical marketing practices work. They will get you results, at least in the short term, but they will also cost you the most valuable financial asset in your business, your audience's trust. So in this video, I want to talk about the most common unethical marketing practices I see folks fall into, what to do instead, and how to rebuild trust if you've made a mistake. And thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. So I always feel a little hesitant and kind of nervous to cover real life events like this because I hate speaking poorly of someone on the internet. Internet content lives forever. I want this person to hopefully learn from this experience, to right their wrongs, and hopefully operate with more integrity moving forward. And I don't want to dogpile on them. I don't want you guys to dogpile on them. So yeah, I'm not going to be naming names, but I do feel like this is an important issue to talk about because promoting your work online is often this grueling, thankless endeavor. It's emotionally taxing and it requires so much grit and psychological fortitude to show up online over and over and over and get very little in return for months or even years. And while you're doing this, you're seeing other creators give into these unethical practices and manufacture drama or play into controversy and grow faster. And so you think to yourself, man, if only I didn't have these pesky morals in the way, right? If only I could just compromise my principles just a little bit, I would be so much further ahead. I would be able to help my family more. I would be able to pay off this debt, like whatever it is. But there are also really severe long-term negative consequences. The person that did this, their entire career is going to have this pall over it now. All of their customers are now going to wonder if anything they say is real. If any testimonials or reviews on their website are genuine, other creatives are going to think twice before working with this person. And sure, that artist did make $10,000. They did gain tens of thousands of followers basically overnight. They had the entire community rally around them, but all of those customers now feel lied to. All of those customers are in their email asking for refunds because they feel betrayed. And that moment when they chose to manufacture this drama, fake these emails, lie about it, and then double down on the lie when they did lie about it, it has cost them tens of thousands of dollars probably in future revenue and years of growth, as well as the respect of all of the other artists in their community. And that's why the first unethical marketing practice I want to talk about is faking drama in customer experiences. Aside from the saga that I've been talking about, there are a few ways that even well-meaning creatives might fall into this practice. Number one, you might make it seem as though things are selling at a faster rate than they actually are, or even slower if you want to. Maybe you are a fine artist selling original paintings and your new collection just isn't selling fast enough. So you post in your Instagram stories saying that you just sold a piece this morning, even though that piece actually sold 2 weeks ago, and you're just mentioning it now. You're making it seem as though your launch has more momentum than it really has. If you really want to create engagement around your sales without actually lying, just be honest about when things sold. Instead of saying, hey, this piece just sold this morning when it actually sold 2 weeks ago, say, hey, this piece was a big favorite of mine. I love how it turned out, and it finally found its home 2 weeks ago. I just wanted to remind you that I have a brand new collection of work that is just like this piece, and this new collection is available right now. Another thing that you might do without even really meaning to is to over-exaggerate or manufacture challenges in your business, your creative practice, to get more support from your audience. Maybe you've been sharing the behind the scenes of your process, and over time you realize that you get way more engagement when you show a disastrous mistake or moments where something out of your control ruins your work. So you lean into that. You make mistakes on purpose, or you stage a moment of frustration that didn't actually even happen. If you want to share behind the scenes content of your creative practice and get engagement without manufacturing drama, Share your actual process, including the real challenges and the moments where you win. So instead of staging a fake disaster or making a mistake on purpose, try sharing a genuine problem that you've solved. Like, I mixed this glaze color 3 times before I got it right, or I made this piece while I was tipsy after a Halloween party and I can't figure out what the hell I did, so let's try to recreate it together. That kind of thing. Like, just real, honest challenges in your business. Something else that you might do, again, while still meaning well in your business, is to slightly edit customer reviews or testimonials. It is one thing to correct small spelling mistakes or typos. It's another, though, to change the tone or the substance of the review to make it seem like they are talking about something else entirely. What all of these mistakes have in common is they are trying to make your work seem like it's more dramatic or more urgent or emotionally impactful than it really is. Yes, you are not lying quite as egregiously as the person that faked a whole campaign of harassment emails, but it is still unethical. And I also think that your audience can feel this. They might not know that you are wholesale lying about something, but they can feel when you are over-exaggerating. They can tell. Someone can smell something fishy from 3 miles away. And if someone finds out that you have been over-exaggerating or twisting the truth even a little bit, they're going to start questioning everything. They're going to start asking themselves if your reviews are real, if they can really trust you, if limited edition prints are actually limited. It all adds up to create a reputation that you do not want to have in your business. The next unethical marketing practice I want to talk about is so normalized that I think often folks don't even know they are doing something wrong here, and that is creating fake scarcity. So, okay, a couple weeks ago, I was gearing up to start doing paid ads in my business, and what I like to do for this is I like to engage with ads on Instagram similar to what I would want to run, because then Instagram will show me more of those same ads, right? So I can get a lot of good inspiration for what's actually working in terms of, ad formats, ad copy, stuff like that. And I saw this one coach offer this like crazy bundle of like 12 courses or something for $27, which I personally am immediately skeptical of. I'm like, what do you mean you're undervaluing this to the extreme degree? Like, that is like changing my perception of the value even, right? But they were like, okay, it's $27 or whatever, but only for the next like 6 hours or something, or only for the next, 3 days. So I check out their sales page. I get like, they're doing all the things or whatever, right? Like all of the scarcity stuff, timers everywhere, countdowns everywhere. And I exited out. I don't buy it, obviously. And then I keep scrolling on Instagram, and then I go back like 2 weeks later. I see the same ad, the same only available for 3 days kind of vibe, and the timer is exactly where it was. Like, it ruined my perception of that creator and of that product because the scarcity wasn't real. So if you are adding scarcity to your business, which is helpful and legitimate as a marketing practice, make sure that it's actually genuine, that there is a good reason why there is scarcity. So if you promote a print as limited edition, make sure that it is in fact limited edition. If you are going to re-release it again 6 months from now, just say so. Say, hey, and I reserve the right to re-release this in limited batches again in the future, but like right now this drop is just this much. Just say that. I think it's fine to have a little bit of context. And it's even better if you can give your customer, again, a legitimate reason behind the scarcity. Maybe you're moving and you can't take your risograph printer with you, or the ink that you were using is no longer manufactured even. Like, it's not even possible to make the thing that you were making before. I feel like limited edition means so little now in the eyes of your customer that you have to actually just like say why it's limited, or folks will be skeptical. Like that ad that I saw, I just don't believe that person now when they say something is limited. And I actually used scarcity in the recent launch of my long-term mentorship program, but I did it on purpose and for 2 specific reasons. Number 1, there is so much hands-on support in that program that I would not have been able to deliver a quality experience had I let, hundreds of folks in. That just would not have been possible. And I talked about that in the marketing of that launch, and I'm glad that I did. I think it helped reaffirm the value of my product, and it validated the scarcity that I was using. I also had doors open for a very limited time window. I think it was like 5 days days because I didn't want to sell forever. Because I am only one person, I feel like I have to switch into modes in my business, right? This is like selling mode. This is coaching mode. This is creating mode. This is filming mode, kind of those vibes. And I wanted to eventually stop selling. I wanted to eventually kind of like dial back the aggressive promotion that I was doing, not have to check the application page all the time. I wanted to just focus on the customers that that had paid me money to get value from me. So again, if you have scarcity, it's fine to use it. Just give a reason to your customer. Just have a motivating factor behind it all. And speaking of presenting your work with honesty and integrity, I want to take a minute to talk about Squarespace, who are kindly sponsoring this video. One of the biggest advantages that you have as a small creator is that your customer can actually see who you are behind the work, right? They can get to know you on a one-on-one level sometimes even. They can experience your aesthetic, your values, and your personality all in one place. And the best place to do this is on a website that you control. And that's where Squarespace comes in. Squarespace makes it incredibly easy to build a site that reflects exactly who you are and what you do. Their design templates are beautiful, literally award-winning, but more importantly, they're customizable. You can make them feel authentically you. I take the time every single year to update my website, my portfolio pages, the collage imagery that I have, and it's seamless every single time. Whether you are selling original paintings, pottery, jewelry, digital products, Squarespace's e-commerce tools let you set everything up in minutes. No coding, no complicated backend, just a professional storefront that your customers can trust. And that trust, it starts the moment they land on your site. A beautiful, honest presentation of your work builds confidence that you are someone worth investing in. So if you want to give it a try, go to squarespace.com/Kelsey Rodriguez and use my code Kelsey Rodriguez at checkout for 10% off your first purchase of a website or a domain. And now back to the video. So the third unethical marketing practice I want to talk about catches the most folks off guard because it feels like such a small thing, but it's not. It's actually extremely important. So let's say that you are a ceramicist. You make beautiful ceramic bowls, but some of them have tiny little imperfections. A glaze that didn't quite settle the way that you wanted, a spot where the clay texture is rougher than what you usually go for, nothing that makes the piece unusable or particularly noticeable even in person maybe, but it's there. You know that it's there. You know that it's not quite the standard that you prefer to hold yourself to. And let's say that you have a whole batch, a whole kiln firing that goes wrong in just little tiny ways. But taxes are coming up, your rent is due, you can't maybe afford even to sell this at a discount, you need that money, and so you try to take your product photos selectively, let's say, right? You try to be a little picky and choosy about the lighting, you pick your angles pretty carefully, you hide those little imperfections and those flaws, stuff like that. And let's say everything sells. The packages arrive to your customers' doors and they're unhappy. Those flaws meant that they broke in the dishwasher or they just weren't as durable as they wanted. And so folks give you negative reviews. And those negative reviews gain a lot more traction than all of your marketing does, and you feel like you have made a massive mistake. Using misleading photography can get you results in the short term, but it will hurt your business long term. And by the way, there is an ocean of difference between making your work look its best and lying about what your work actually is. Like, good photography uses intentional lighting and nice props to showcase your work honestly, whereas deceptive photography uses heavy editing and strategic kind of misleading angles to hide the actual flaws of your product or misrepresent what it really is. And clothing brands use this to a lesser extent all the time. It grinds my gears so fucking bad. I cannot stand this. Brands will kind of put their designs on specific kinds of bodies, knowing full well that their pieces will look drastically different at other ends of their size range. Ideally, you would have product photos featuring your work on, a variety of sizes, a variety of bodies, so folks know what they're getting. This is why brands like Big Bud Press do so well. I have so much trust in Big Bud Press as a brand because they make a point to show their designs, which are not cheap. Their work is like $100 sometimes per piece, which is a lot for a clothing item, they make a point to show their clothes on a variety of bodies every single time. I can buy their work with confidence, knowing that, I'm a size 6 to 8 usually. I can just see this is what this will look like on my body, basically, and that's awesome. That helps me purchase with trust, with faith, with confidence. I really think that just being aggressively honest about your product, what folks can expect, is the best practice. If there are flaws or imperfections, just say so. Discount it if necessary, or don't. I don't know. I just want to know what I'm buying. Just tell me the truth. Just give me the information. That way, folks will buy with confidence and you won't lose their trust. So we have talked about 3 unethical marketing practices so far: manufacturing drama, creating fake scarcity, and misleading photography. And hopefully, you will never fall into any of those things. Hopefully, you will never make those mistakes. But what if you have? What if you have been watching this video and you're like, oop, I did those things. I did those things. How do I fix it? How do I rebuild this trust? How do I own this mistake, do better, and move on? I think that there is a proven kind of framework to do a really good apology. And number 1 is to acknowledge what you did wrong. Don't do a vague apology. Don't do the classic, I'm sorry if anyone was offended by what I did. That's a non-apology apology. Just say specifically how you fucked up, what you did wrong. If you, heavily edited before and after photos to misrepresent what your product does, or if you called something limited edition, knowing full well that you would re-release it later, kind of stuff like that. And step number 2 is to apologize genuinely and say how you're going to make things right. Do not use a ukulele, okay? I want 0 musical apologies in this household. It's tempting to make excuses. Don't do that. Don't do that. Always bad. And depending on what you did, you might have to, do a lot of different things to make things right. You might have to offer refunds. You might have to remake products. You might have to just be more transparent going forward, or all of the above. But whatever it is, make it really concrete. And step number 3 is to actually do better, and to do better consistently. Every day that you wake up and work on your business is an opportunity for you to live your values and do that with integrity, to show the world who you are deep inside, right? Folks can make whatever claims they want about you, but the way that you show up day in and day out, especially after you've made a mistake, that has a massive reflection on who you actually are. And at some point in your career, someone is going to critique you unfairly. They are going to misinterpret your actions or your motives. They are going to claim that you did something that you didn't actually do. When this happens, view it as an opportunity rather than a threat. You do not have to approach this defensively. You don't have to get out in front of it immediately. You can take a breath, let your anxiety calm down a little bit, and then talk about your side. Be honest and respectful and empathetic. Don't name call. Just give your side of the story or the argument, correct them if necessary, and move on. And rebuild that trust if it's been shaken. Often I find that the way that you respond to critique says a lot about you, and it can help rebuild any trust that has been shaken. Every day that you work in your business is an opportunity to live your values and do that with respect and integrity and professionalism. Don't be known as the kind of person that causes drama or problems. I think the best marketing in the world is grounded in a love for your customer. Know who that person is, respect them, always try to do right by that person, and you'll do fine. You will do so fine. And if you've messed up, again, just apologize, move on. It doesn't have to be a big deal. Just make it right and try to, do better in the future, and just, again, operate your business with integrity and respect. That is the big lesson that I want you to take away from this whole video. So if you want to keep hanging out, there will be, some videos on the screen. I will also leave a link to my newsletter in the description, and I hope to see you guys there. Bye.